anniversary, and this video is basically going to be 30 reasons. Well, I can't do that on my fingers. Like that maybe. Why you should get a Mac over a Windows computer. These are things that most of them I use on a daily basis or benefit from them on a daily basis, and they're not just things like you don't have to defrag your Mac or they don't get viruses and stuff like that. These are real benefits over Windows. So the first thing is multitasking. And yes, Windows does have multitasking, and even Chrome OS and Linux do. Not saying that they're bad OSs or anything. But the multitasking in the Mac is just heads and shoulders over Windows. You can do stuff like mission control, you've got different desktops, you can easily just see which apps of a certain type you have open, and there's just so much more things you can do on the Mac. The second thing are full screen apps. And yes, you have full screen apps on Windows 8, but the Mac does it so much better. On Windows, you're basically in Windows 8 mode or desktop mode. But in the Mac, there's just one mode, which is just basically Mac OS X. And full screens are just seem more close to normal apps. You just swipe between them, and it's so much easier to get between them. Number 3 is that there's no need for drivers, and devices just work. So if you have a hard drive, and you know how long those hard drives take to connect to Windows computers, they just instantly connect on your Mac, and you don't have to install any drivers or any things like that. They just work as soon as you plug them in. Number 4 is Spotlight. And yes, you may say that if you click on the start button there's a search there, but Spotlight does so much more than that. For starters, search queries come up almost instantly. You can also do extra stuff like preview files and preview pictures and stuff. And you can also do calculations, so if you type 2 plus 2 in it, it'll show 4 and just stuff like that. Number 5 is Notification Center, and you might say that this might not be that necessary, but it actually is really nice to have notifications coming at the top of your emails and stuff like that. And number 6 is Quick Look. So Quick Look is basically a way to see files and pictures and stuff like that without ever having to open an app. You just press space and it comes up. And this is really helpful when you want to open videos or preview Word files or Pages files or anything like that. Number 7 is the dock. And the reason I mention the dock is it isn't really too much different to the Windows taskbar, but you can hold so many apps on it, whereas the Windows taskbar can only hold a few. So I really like it in the fact that you can put all of your apps at the bottom and you don't have to go searching for them every time you want to open them. Number 8 is multi-touch gestures, and yes, there are some Windows laptops that have multi-touch gestures, but on the Mac they really shine. For example, you can do 5 fingers upwards to go to mission control, you can do 4 fingers across to go between app desktops, and there's just so many different gestures. And number 9 is basically Automator. And Automator is this program that lets you automate lots of the things that you'd normally have to do over and over again on the Mac. So for example, I have some videos on this channel showing some things you can do with Automator, but one of the things is you can set services, such as a service to send any files you've highlighted over to a certain folder, which can then be uploaded to SkyDrive. Number 10, is spring-loaded folders. And if you don't know what spring-loaded folders are, it's basically when you hover over a folder and it opens the folder up for you. And again, you might say this is not helpful, but it really is. If you want to go deep down into a folder and you have like a picture starting on the desktop, then it's much easier to just pick that photo up and just hover over the folders and have them all open up till you get to your place, instead of having to copy and do whatever or manually put it into each folder one after the other. Number 11, so I'm going to start doing like this, is that the Mac runs Windows natively or in a virtual machine. So you can actually have Windows in a different partition or run it over a virtual machine. So if you have any games or anything that you want to play in the Mac but they're not compatible, or you just need Windows for something, then you can always switch over to it. Number 12 is you can actually get rid of printer queues. And I know this is something you all might not notice, but in Windows getting rid of files to be printed just never works for me. And maybe it's different on other computers, but for me it never works, and on Mac it always works, so that's one really big advantage. Staying on the subject of printers, number 13, if I get it right, is the ability to see how much ink your printer has natively from Mac OS X. And number 14 is no real OS fragmentation. And I say this meaning that most people are on the same level or the same OS on the Mac. So with Mavericks going free now, most people have upgraded to it and most people are running Mavericks. So unlike Windows where half of the people are still on XP, on the Mac many people have got the latest and greatest OS. 15 is iCloud integration. So if you have an iPad or an iPhone or anything and you work on something in Pages, then you'll be able to instantly pick up where you left it off on your Mac just by opening Pages again, and they both work really well. And also there's many other things in iCloud like reminders. And going on to number 16 is staying on the topic of reminders. There's just reminders, iBooks, iMessage, FaceTime and all of that on the Mac. You don't have to have an iPad or an iPhone to use iMessage or FaceTime to speak to your Apple buddies. And there's also iBooks where you can read any book directly on the Mac. And number 17 isn't really an actual feature, but yes, it does have games, and it has quite a lot of games. All of the Blizzard games are there, so like StarCraft and World of Warcraft and Hearthstone, they're all there. And there's other games like Portal and Half-Life, and there's just many games on the Mac. Number 18 is screenshots are really easy to take. Taking screenshots is available on Windows. You have to do print screen or go to this application called Clipper, I think, or something like that. And you can like do it through there, but it really is much easier on the Mac. All you do is hold Command-Shift-3 or 4, which lets you take a little clip, just a little section of the Mac, and it just saves it straight to the desktop just like that. For number 19, it's very hard to lose work on the Mac. Because of autosave, even if an app crashes like Pages, when it starts up again you get the document exactly as you left it, even though you didn't physically save it. Number 20 is restart and resume. When you switch off a Mac, there's an option for all the applications to go back exactly as you left it, and that's basically what happens. If you have that checked, then when you start the Mac up again, everything goes back to how you left it, and it's as if you didn't even restart the Mac. Number 21 is Preview for opening pictures and PDFs. Preview is basically a program that lets you open pictures and PDFs, and it's basically a really good overall picture/PDF opener. It lets you edit photos and view PDFs really well, and I never really have any problems with it. It's just a really good app. And moving away from the software for a bit, number 22 is just the beautiful hardware design. On the Mac there's a backlit keyboard and massive trackpads and a little light on the front when it's sleeping that I like to call the breathing light, because it basically looks like it's breathing, like in and out like that. And number 23 is physical hardware buttons for backlight, brightness and music controls. And this is really helpful if you have stuff like iTunes open. You can easily move forward or backward in a song, pause it, or just make the brightness go higher or lower. Number 24 is the ability to easily change audio output. On the Mac, all that you need to do to change the audio output is press Alt and then click on the sound menu option at the top, and it shows you a list of options. On Windows you have to go into sound preferences and set one as default, and it's just really not that easy. Number 25 is the Facebook and Twitter integration. On the Mac, to post a status to Facebook, all you have to do is go into Notification Center, and at the top you see a button saying F. And to post a tweet on Twitter, all you do is go to the Twitter icon next to the Facebook icon in Notification Center. Also, when stuff happens on Facebook, then you get notifications straight in Notification Center without having any app or any browser open. And number 26 is free software updates. So I did kind of mention this before, but on the Mac, software updates from now on are free. So when the latest and greatest version of the Mac OS X comes out, you can just get it for free. And 27 is because the changes to the Mac after each OS upgrade are very small, there's nothing new to learn. With Windows, more or less every time Windows updates, then there's a massive change for the whole UI and everything. So you always have to learn a new UI and stuff like that. But for Mac, it's always been the same, and there's just been little changes, but it stayed the same for more or less since it started. Number 28 is installing apps on Mac OS X is as simple as dragging and dropping, and uninstalling is just as easy, you just drag it into the bin. All apps aren't like this, but for the majority of the apps, this is how you install an app, and it's really easy. Number 29 is you can quickly view the desktop by doing an outwards pinch with 5 fingers on the trackpad, or you can set up a hot corner like I've done to show the desktop. And unlike the Ever Preview or Ever Peek in Windows, you can actually interact with the desktop. Number 30, and my final reason, is hot corners. For my last reason and 30th reason is hot corners. On Mac OS X you can set up hot corners to do different stuff. So like if you go to the top right or top left, you can open Mission Control. Or if you go to the top left, you can open your screensaver and stuff like that. And you can actually set any corner, it's not just the ones I mentioned. And you can do it for many things like show the desktop, show the app switcher, or basically the different apps, the different windows within that certain app, and just a whole load of great stuff like that. Those are my 30 reasons why you should upgrade to a Mac, and this is a special episode for the Mac's 30th anniversary, so happy anniversary Mac, and Apple more specifically. And I hope you liked this video. If you liked it, please like and subscribe down there, and comment if you have any more reasons or you think some of the reasons are just stupid. And thank you for watching everyone. Bye.